back with the Kings Around Crowns podcast. In the studio is Dr. Gavarga. I am here again, along with the Kentucky Colonel. Say hello, Colonel.
Hello, everyone.
And on the phone is Sir William from his castle on the east side of Las Vegas. Say hello.
The east side of Las Vegas.
Yeah, he's from East Coast.
Not quite.
You know what's funny is that when I was getting home yesterday, there was a shooting by my house. It's crazy. I couldn't get to my house. You know where I live, Oregon.
Yeah, like
they had the roads closed off?
Oh, they closed it off.
Yeah, no, you know where that school is? There's like two elementary schools.
Oh, I know
right
what you're
there.
talking about.
And apparently, some dude was chasing another dude, and he started shooting at him. And there was like families playing at the park at the elementary school. It was crazy.
That's crazy.
But nobody got hurt though.
Yeah, that's good.
That you know of.
Thank God. Yeah, no. Well, I saw it I looked it up on Southside News.
And, did they have any like official report about it?
Yeah, they said that basically what I just told you.
Oh, okay. I just don't know what they like.
I don't know. I was trying to get home. All I know is fucking my whole entire block is blocked off. I have to go around both the elementary schools to get to my house, the back side of it.
Yeah, he had to take a detour down Glock Street, off of Smith and Wesson Avenue over there.
On the east side.
East side.
I want to say that my side of the east side is relatively safe. It's like the first time I really had any incidents like that with shootings and shit. Just some random Mexicans shooting at each other, I guess.
Except for at the
that shit happens all
Walmart.
over town, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Just random acts of rage.
Right, that's what it was. It was blocked off till like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, like that was right by the Walmart where they had the shootout a few years back. Because I used to teach over there. I remember I used to teach over there, and that's where my school was, like right behind where that Walmart's at. So that's how I remember that. 'Cause it was like the following summer that happened.
Damn, that's crazy. You go like literally not even a third of a mile, and it's all chaos.
It's all what?
Chaos.
Oh.
From where I live.
In what way? What do you mean?
Like, okay, I live where these houses are at by the schools, and then below us is these apartments, and it's just all chaos. That's where all chaos goes on. Dude, I always see cops over there, like over in the apartments or these apartments. But in our neighborhood where the houses are at, I never see the cops. Never until yesterday. It's funny.
Yeah,
It's like a war zone right outside.
well, man, that sounds like parts of North Vegas, man. That's like where the
A war
where,
zone.
like the Lion King where you don't that area where you don't go in, or like the hyenas
Right.
and all that. That's like parts of North Town, East Side. You know what I mean?
A war zone, though, really.
It sounds like Chicago.
You know, it's like Chicago.
It's Chicago.
In that apartment neighborhood.
Yeah.
In that apartment neighborhood.
Oh man.
But we're over here, and then Beverly Hills over here, and in Chicago over there.
And speaking of shootings, we're getting our first topic, which is the Parkland High School shooting that took place at Marjorie Stoneman High School.
It's a
Again,
sad,
Parkland,
another
Florida.
sad event.
Oh yeah, that was.
As always.
But now what comes next?
I mean, it was. I mean, the whole thing was like obviously premeditated. Like,
Yeah, he's been planning this shit for the last year. This kid was crazy.
You know what's fun?
he said he heard voices.
You know what's
too.
crazy? Is that Stephen A. Smith from ESPN, he has his own radio show called the Stephen A. Smith Show.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask you about this. Continue.
This fool was trying to justify. He was trying to classify mass shootings the same in the same class as Black Lives Matter, like police brutality. And I'm like, what the?
Yeah, I saw your tweet about this. That's why I was gonna bring this up so you could
Well, they want to try and tie it in, dude, because it's all part of the greater agenda, which is to get the guns. That's the agenda.
No, but he was trying to say that how come this mass shooter was arrested, and then when there was a innocent black guy walking down the street and he ends up getting killed by the police, how come this?
Oh, are you talking about that meme that's on there? They have the guy who got choked out because he was illegally selling cigarettes on the street. Is that what you're referring to? That meme you've been seeing floating around?
I'm not really referring to that. I'm just referring to what Stephen A. Smith was talking about.
Well, it's probably along those same lines. Is they're trying to argue like a difference in treatment. But I'm curious. This kid's name, his last name is Cruz, right?
Yeah, he was adopted. Him and his brother. His brother got taken to a mental health facility too, by the way. After all this.
So then we don't know what he is.
But the thing is, what Stephen A. Smith failed to realize is that the majority of these mass shooters, dude, they kill themselves, bro. They don't fucking get arrested.
Yeah, this guy planned his whole escape route too. He was wearing his ROTC shirt from like before he got expelled from the school, and then he dropped the gun in the backpack and everything, and just like left with the mass panic that was going on, everybody leaving the building.
Well, you know, the FBI got tipped off twice on this kid, and on one of those tips, it was actually a YouTube video of him.
Snapchat.
Whatever it was, it's on social media. He's explicitly stating he wants to be a professional school shooter.
Oh yeah, that was YouTube.
You know, so it's like
he wants to be a professional school shooter.
Professional school shooter, yeah. So I mean, if that's not enough for the FBI to like be knocking in doors and investigating this a little bit more thoroughly,
what about the parents?
Well, yeah,
his mom died in November 2017 of a pneumonia. So he's working with like a friend of a friend's. Like his friend's house.
Oh wow! This is wow. It just blows my mind how they just.
But even still, I mean, these kinds of things have to be brewing for some time, dude. It's not like you don't just wake up one day and you're like, I'm gonna go shoot up the whole fucking school.
I'm just gonna shoot up my whole school.
Yeah, I can't fathom that you just wake up one day with the thought to go do that. I think these kids have to be going through some shit. And it builds up, and it's just like, that going postal, it builds up for so long, they can't take it, and then they just go on a fucking rampage. Yeah.
I love how you said it at the same time. And speaking of that, he got expelled from the school like last November for fighting his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend. So that's probably been premeditated since then. And that's probably why he chose Valentine's Day for the attack.
That would be that. Yeah, I could second that theory.
I would third that theory. That seems like a very plausible cause of why would you want to kill a bunch of people?
And then like after he took an Uber there. That was the first part I want to bring up. He went there with the Uber and he had like his bag or whatever. And then after he did the shooting, he escaped with the people, right? Like escaped in the crowd. Then he goes to Walmart and buys some stuff.
The suspect arrived on scene.
And then he goes to like a McDonald's or like a Subway or something, get some food. And then that's when they caught him like in a park about 2 miles away in Coral Springs, Florida.
Wow, that's funny. Imagine the dude being the Uber driver. Imagine the Uber driver being like, "Holy shit,
dude, like, fuck, I just drove. I drove this kid to go murder people."
Like, man, he asked me to drive him to the school, dude. That was it. I didn't know.
You said I was late for class.
Like, speed up. Let's be late.
Yeah, and like, that's why he picked the floor he was at. He was trying to open up the window to shoot people after he pulled the fire alarm. But he wasn't able to get the windows open. Or when like more people dead. That was his whole original.
Well, I have a question for you guys, because every time one of these events happens and a bunch of people get killed for no good reason, the same debate always gets brought back up about gun bans, ammo ban, anything you can think of under the sun pertaining
gun control.
Yeah, all along those lines. I'm curious what your guys' position on it is, but more importantly, like what legitimately can be done to prevent these things from happening? Because the arguments I hear all the time about limiting magazines and not letting people have guns at all or certain types of guns, they're all bullshit arguments. And I can point them out one by one as you guys bring them up. But I really want to hear what your guys' position on this is.
Well, I'll go first since I was at the October 1st shooting. There's two things we need to ban. I'm being very specific with this. Nothing else should be like on the list as far as I'm seeing. Number one, AR-15 sales to military personnel.
So AR-15 rifles
and bump stocks.
Okay, those are the only two things you want to be banned.
Well, because those are like the main two things that be used constantly in these type of situations, and that's why. Is like AR-15s are continually. You realize
the AR-15 rifle is not much different than most other rifles. It's a semi-automatic rifle. It has the same rate of fire as every other semi-automatic weapon. You pull the trigger one time, you fire one bullet. Granted, you can pull. Granted, the only thing the bump stock does is reduce recoil.
The major thing that needs to happen
which is ridiculous because the whole point of reducing recoil is for full fire, right? Because you're bumping around there, but it doesn't change. All the weapons, any semi-automatic weapon is going to be fine.
Well, can I add to it? Can I just say semi-automatic and automatic would be added to that too?
Hold on.
Well, fully automatic weapons already are banned.
Okay.
What's that?
You asked the question.
Yeah.
So let us answer.
Yeah, you're up next, Sir William.
Yeah.
It's your turn now.
What I'm hearing you guys say, the whole thing is you can't really necessarily put a certain classification of weapons into that. It has to be a ban on a bunch of them, not just
that's what I was saying.
ARs. Because you can do a bunch of damage with a fucking automatic fucking pistol.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like after.
The thing is, automatic firearms are already banned and illegal. I mean, you can't obtain them. You have to
It can't.
You have to get a.
It can't just be that. It just has to be.
Well, of course
everything
not.
has to be more strict with these mental evaluations, but at the same time, it's a tricky.
That's a tricky road to navigate because your medical records are closed.
Because you don't necessarily you own guns, right? You own guns.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean that right now you're going to go out and fucking kill somebody, but maybe 20, 30, 40 years from now you might snap and try to shoot somebody. That type of shit, you can't judge that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
how do you get around from that?
At the end of the day, though, the person committing that crime needs to be held responsible. Honestly, I think the people that are one way I think we could help curb these things from happening is the people that commit them. We need to punish them in the most barbaric fucking way possible to let them and make examples out of them. Just purely make examples out of them. If that means tying them to a pole in town center and lashing them and waterboarding them until they die to get the point across.
Continue.
It goes to the argument where a lot of these mass shooters end up killing themselves. Like the dude that shot all those people at Route 91.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up because the scenario.
Majority of these people don't end up like this kid did. He's just he's that rarity.
Route 91 aside, because
the Orlando shooting.
Yeah,
the Orlando shooting.
The Orlando was like that was more like an ISIS.
They always can kill themselves. The Virginia Tech.
Of course. But that's also why I'm a huge proponent of why people need to arm themselves so that when these psychopaths cross paths, you can put them down. If you allow teachers to be armed and you have armed guards at the schools, you think about it, dude. All of our VIP personnel, celebrities, anybody famous, they have bodyguards. Armed security. They all have guns. They protect themselves with guns. Why should we think that? What other way are we thinking is gonna work to curb this? If there was another way of doing it, all the VIPs and famous people and celebrities and stuff would be doing it. They wouldn't be protected by armed bodyguards and have walls around everything. You know what I'm saying? Well, there's a reason why why they have it, because it works.
Well, you brought the scenario you brought up was the Stephen Paddock scenario with 20 or 30 years if you go crazy, that's what happens. He was in his 60s when he did all that, or late 50s, something like that. So
it's really hard. It's really hard to determine what's going to drive somebody to snap, whether it be a 17-year-old kid or the kid that was involved in Sandy Hook. These type of things you can't. It's a tricky situation.
Well, I also think we can't treat them all the same either. When we have one of these younger kids who just loses their mind and goes and shoots up a school, we can't correlate. You know, it's not the same as when we have some ISIS radical who goes and shoots up a bunch of people, or when we have the the lunatic here from the hotel. Which, in my opinion, I mean, the hotel itself dropped the ball big on that.
The hotel definitely dropped the ball. Like, and speaking of
that, I mean, he had to have blown out 2 windows. Like, how did the hotel not respond to windows being blown out?
But at the same time, you have to classify them in the same way, because the original plan was to inflict terror and to kill people. No matter what, even though they might be in different ages and might have different agendas, they still are classified the same because.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. You can't classify them the same because they do have different agendas.
Speaking of that, Caesar's Palace announced today that they are going to check rooms every day, even though it has a do not disturb sign on the doors. So that's like a recent, in the last 4 or 5 hours, that they announced that they were going to do that.
I wonder what legality issues they're going to face because of that.
Well, they don't want to have another Paddock type situation.
Well, I know, but that might be an infringement of certain constitutional rights. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just. I mean, I'm all for doing something about this. Obviously, something needs to be done. It's just that a lot of the propositions I hear to do something about it doesn't really do anything. It sounds good. It sounds good in theory. Yeah, in theory. Taking all the guns away, that's great. Nobody has any guns. The problem with that theory is, in practice, criminals still get guns.
Yeah, criminals will still get.
And at the end of the day, criminals are the ones who are going to use the guns. Preventing law-abiding citizens from being able to defend themselves isn't the answer to get criminals to stop being criminals. At least in my humble opinion.
Honestly, I definitely agree with that. I think they're just going to get the guns no matter what we do. Somehow, some way.
No, of course. There's too many. And even if you did take the gun, even if you did put a ban on guns, honestly, what is the government's enforcement mechanism for that? There's more guns than people in this country.
That's true.
Like, what, you're gonna go door to door taking everybody's guns away? I'm pretty sure that's an infringement on our constitution.
You got a point there, because we can't even agree on a budget. How are we gonna agree about gun control?
Not to mention what you would need in order for the Constitution to be changed. You know, for the Second Amendment to be changed in any way. The political.
That's just gonna cause a major uproar.
Well, just the politically to do it, it's just not feasible, especially with how dichotomous our system has become, how polarized it's become. There's no way you'd be able to get 2/3 of the states to ratify a change.
There's too many reds and too many blues out there.
It's not that there's too. Well, they're all reds and blues. The problem is that the reds are super red and the blues are super blue.
Exactly. That's why I brought that up.
There's no moderates, so there's no.
That's the problem right there.
And as of lately, there's no compromise.
The neutrality, the neutrals are just like a minor fraction of all that.
Yeah, and there's no compromise. Neither side is willing to meet the other halfway, so it's just a standoff, which ultimately just hurts us, the American people, because the people we put in power to guide us and lead us and do what needs to be done, they're not doing it. And at the end of the day, that holds us back. So.
Well, it's been like that for years and nothing changed.
Yeah. It's been like that for decades.
Don't matter who's in charge, it's just going to keep being like that.
It's been like
constantly.
that since JFK got clipped.
That's true. That's about the truth.
That was it. That was the end.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. You got any final thoughts on that, Sir William?
I mean, it's sad because we know that it's going to continue.
Yeah.
You know? That's the sad part about it. It seems like damn near every year we have to, as an American society, have to go through these stupid
multiple events like this, dude.
Well, it seems like
it's like every month.
Yeah, every month. I was just about to say that. It's like every month since Route 91 here in Vegas, like the October 1st shooting. There's been 4 mass shootings in the United States. and that took place 4 months ago. So it's like you said, once a month. And I noticed that like yesterday too, because yesterday I was on Twitter and I saw the video from like inside the school, and you could see like blood and bodies and all that. It was bad. But
my thing is this too, because my girl said that a lot of her friends wanted to start homeschooling their kids. But what's that really going to do? Because I was like,
what do you mean that they're not going to be at school?
Like they
no, but a lot of kids get probably. I guarantee you, more kids get killed by their own parents than some random shooter. Guarantee that.
That's a fun fact to Google.
Yeah,
that's worth a Google.
Let's Google that on the internet machine. The Colonel is Googling. He's given his phone the googly eyes as he's Googling. He's gonna get the information for us. But yeah, that's. I mean, it's like I said, it's a sad state of affairs in the United States with the guns and the violence and the politicians. It's a hot mess. It's a hot mess express, basically. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much how it is.
Yeah, I got messed up when I saw that video because I had like flashbacks from the shooting here in town. You know what I mean? Because I was out. I was out drinking with the Colonel last night, and that's why I was drinking so much. Because like on Friday, I saw the video, and I was like, oh, why did I even watch it?
Yeah, it's just a crazy. You know, like I said, it's a sad state of affairs. It's always going to happen. Continue to happen.
All right, well, I'm trying to Google this, but the only thing that keeps popping up is a bunch of articles about the most recent shooting. So that'll require a bit more research at a later time.
Yeah, for sure.
But I am curious.
But
I don't disagree, though. I think it's probably more likely children die from domestic violence as opposed to one of these random school shootings.
Right, so, you know, dad goes crazy and fucking murders the whole family and shit. That shit happens all the time, dude.
I mean, that happened in China today. They had like a knife attack that killed like 33 people and injured like 80 or something like that. I mean, they had like a theater shooting in Russia that killed like 4 people. Not a theater, a church shooting. Like same thing. And that makes me wonder if it's like makes me wonder if it's like Tajikistan or Tajikistan or like Chechnya, one of those places. Like on the mainly Russian, the Muslim Russian areas in the Soviet Republic.
Who knows, man? Is that how mentally disturbed society, the whole global society is nowadays? Is everybody just willing to kill everybody?
Yeah, it's like mental illness is like the common now. That's scary. That's what it feels
so
like
common to where it's like, oh yeah, that dude got killed. Oh yeah, whatever.
Well, we live in a time that no other humans have experienced before.
A time when we have Snapchat.
Yeah, I mean, just technology and access.
Google.
I mean, think about
Twitter.
it. Your average everyday American lives better than kings lived 1,000 years ago. Think about that for a minute.
Now I want to go see Tournament of Kings now at Excalibur after hearing that. I'm serious. I want to see the.
I must live the ancient way.
Off with their heads. Yeah, let's have a bris. Off with their heads.
No, I'm just saying, like that's like people joke about first world problems, but it's legit. There's legitimacy behind that. You know, we've gotten to the point now. You know, initially as hunter gatherers, everything was about surviving the next day, making sure you had somewhere to sleep and not get killed by a wild animal. Eat.
It's like get killed by a dinosaur.
But now we've gotten to the point where, those aren't. I mean, at least for the vast majority of us, and there are people in the streets that do still have to struggle with that. But for the majority of us, we don't. It's not a daily concern when we're going to eat again or where we're going to sleep. That's true. And so it gives us more time to think and unfortunately for some of these people, without any purpose, they get bored and they lose it.
They start shooting people up.
Exactly, mass shootings. What's crazy is they want to they kill themselves after because they would like it's like why take out all that many people when you can just. I mean, it just seems like a pointless thing to me.
I imagine they kill themselves because they know they're gonna sit in a prison cell the rest of their lives, and they don't want to know. They don't want to have to live with that.
But why would he kill like 30 people, 17 people, 20 people, 58 people? You know what I mean? That just makes no sense to me.
Their goal, honestly, I think their goal is to just kill as many people as they can until they have to.
But what would drive somebody to do that?
It's to inflict terror. So anybody who sees what the end result of their action, they're gonna always live in these states of terror. Like, okay, not necessarily like how you were inflicted by it.
So you're saying it's like an ISIS type mentality, kind of.
But by somebody else, like normal human beings like us, like who weren't in mass shooting, we were like, damn, we gotta worry about some crazy shit like that.
I'm gonna take us down the rabbit hole real quick, just real quick, but. You're familiar with that book, Behold a Pale White Horse? Are you familiar with that book?
I think I might. I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
Can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. He was a Navy intelligence officer. But one of the things he talked about in the book was
the what?
Behold a Pale White Horse.
It's by a Navy intelligence officer.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. If I heard it, I'd instantly recognize it. It's eluding me right now though. But in there he talks about secret government program Orion, where essentially they're, just like in the Jason Bourne movies where they're like conditioning him to be like this stone cold secret assassin type thing. Well, supposedly the government had numerous of these programs. And this one in particular, Orion, was essentially to lead to mass shootings like the ones we've been seeing for years now, with the whole guise of, getting the public to the point where we willingly give up our guns so that obviously the tyranny can come in afterwards. I don't know how, those are all just conspiracy theories and speculation, but
the usual.
But you never know, There's lots of conspiracy theories that they've turned out to be true. Yeah, it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but then when you dig and you dig and you dig, and then you're like, oh, yeah, there actually was some people pulling strings. The agenda was there. Yeah, there were people pulling strings behind the curtains that led it to happen this way.
It sounds like an episode of X-Files. I was just thinking about that while you were talking. The whole conspiracy theory.
You know what's funny is that me and my friend Stan were talking about this sort of subject last night, and we were saying, like, man, it's crazy how, if you think about all the presidencies that have been within, like, what, even going back to Bill Clinton had the Columbine, and George Bush had the Virginia Tech, and then Obama had the Orlando
San Bernardino,
and now
Obama had a whole bunch of them.
Nightclub.
And then Trump had the Route 91, the fucking...
The next handful to come, for sure.
The Texas church shooting in December.
It's just weird how it's a more, like you guys said earlier, it's a more norm.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's becoming the norm.
And we're becoming desensitized to it because of that.
I mean, dude, I see every fucking day. I go on Facebook, I look at my news feed, dude, and it's just shooting, murder, robbery. It's unbelievable.
Anti-Trump rant.
And I know
the Trump bashing.
Yeah, there's always that. I can't get it. Especially
someone still blaming Obama for our problems.
Well, no, now they blame Trump. There's who's ever in the office at the time.
Yeah, whoever's in charge is gonna get blamed for it no matter what.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are, you're getting blamed.
Fuck that guy. It could be a gingerbread man.
Yeah, he'll just
Dude, could have Santa Claus as the president, and everyone would fucking hate him.
They'll be like, fuck Santa, bro. He's a fucking Nazi.
And then the president will stick a Siri Huckabee Sanders on him. She's like a damn robot up there, like, this is the agenda of the White House. Trump is the greatest thing ever. And she just keeps going and going and going. She's like a robot. You know what I mean? It's hilarious.
That's hilarious how Americans are. How we are, I guess, our American society. We hate anybody in power. Fuck that guy.
That's exactly what it is, dude. Our country was born from resentment of authority.
It could just be like a rock. with eyes drawn on it and with hate on it. Like, fuck that Rock, dude. Fucking googly eyes and shit. Looking at me like I don't matter.
Oprah's the president. We're going to hate Oprah now. Rosie O'Donnell.
So unlikely. So unlikely.
Roseanne Barr.
Like, you really
Gordon
think...
Ramsay.
I don't know.
Steve Urkel. He's the president now.
Did I do that?
After he presses the big red button.
Mario Lopez.
The Rock and Dude, no. The Rock and Mark Wahlberg. 2020, bro.
Well, that's going to be a Wahlburger if I ever saw one.
That's how bad our shit got.
Oh my goodness!
Then we got to actually throw these names out.
Yeah, it's great if it's bad if like a Screech Power seems like a good president.
You know what kind of bugged me about
Andy Milonakis.
You guys saw Jimmy Kimmel's little tear-jerking diatribe against Trump, right? And, it's just funny. They get like, where were you? Why weren't you pulling this shit fucking 2 years ago when Obama was in office and we were dealing with this shit? Why weren't you lashing Obama for not doing anything?
Because this one is close to home, that's why. He's more emotionally attached to this one.
Because they're children?
Huh?
Why? Because they're children?
No, what are you talking about?
Why is he more emotionally attached to this one as opposed to any of the other ones over the last several years?
I would say that. Just like any, I don't know. I would feel more emotionally attached to it because I have kids as well.
Well, Sandy Hook happened under Obama,
yeah, so I was about to
that was even younger kids. These were high school kids. Dude, that was fucking. That was little kids.
Yeah,
dude.
First
Those were
graders.
6, 7 years old.
Yeah, 6-year-old first graders.
I still feel the same way. I still feel the same way against all of them, regardless of what it is. I know. It's all fucked up.
No, I agree. I think it is totally fucked up. I just think it's amazing how these assholes have the audacity to get on stage like that and try to paint it as like his failing, as this is Trump's failing that this happened, as if these things haven't been happening, and as if your fucking right hand man Obama there, he didn't do shit about it either. So like, honestly, where are you getting on your high horse and trying to get all righteous here? You have no fucking moral high ground here.
Yeah, Will, it's like we were talking about with the award shows with these celebrities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh yeah.
They think because a bunch of people watch them for entertainment that their opinions somehow hold more credibility than anybody else.
And I also love how the soundtrack fits this perfectly. Like, it's getting darker and darker.
That's why I brought it up that our all the other prior presidents were involved with mass shootings as well. This has been going on for a while.
Yeah, like Sandy Isidro with the McDonald's back in the 80s, things like that. The Luby's cafeteria in Texas back in 1992, I believe. Something like that.
Okay.
The Texas clock shower shooting in the 60s. 1967 at University of Texas.
Jimmy Kimmel's reasons of doing that could be different from all of ours. Maybe he just
his reasons are he's trying to garner more favor and attention from the left.
Which he does every time.
It's all political. It's a political ploy on his part to advance his career.
He is owned by Disney.
Yeah, didn't he do this before, like with the
probably
the healthcare thing, if I remember correctly?
Didn't he? He was on the Man Show back in the day, wasn't he?
Yeah, him and Adam Carolla. I used to love that show.
Isn't it funny to see where this guy's...
But Jimmy Kimmel works for ABC. ABC is owned by Disney.
He starts his career off objectifying women, and now is tugging at America's hearts over the shooting deaths of these kids from this psychopath. It's come a long way.
Yeah.
I see.
Well, that's going by what I've seen on the Man Show. I'd say it's definitely an accurate statement to make. I used to watch that like every week, so
Yeah, of course. I was like 16, 17-year-old. Of course, I'm watching the Man Show.
Man Show on South Park.
They had fucking girls with big tits jumping on trampolines.
Yeah, I remember that. Girls on trampolines like every week. Oh my god.
At the end of every show.
Every show, girls jumping on trampolines. That was their thing.
Yeah, where's the Me Too / #Times Up people about that one?
Right.
Oh, then now he's on their side. Never mind. That's why they're not around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he works for Disney.
Does he?
Yeah, ABC's Disney.
Is it?
So it's
ABC.
Marvel, Pixar.
I know they're all owned by the same 4 people anyway, so.
The 4 people control
Disney
the world.
owns ABC.
Yeah, like
so Jimmy Kimmel. Of course, Jimmy Kimmel is going to be more sensitive to certain subjects.
Yeah, like Disney, Amazon, Walmart.
The last thing Disney wants is fucking their #1 late night host to offend families.
Well, I mean, you can like not cry and still not offend the families. And
the irony of all this is his best friend is Howard Stern, if that tells you anything. I'm being legit. Howard Stern talks about him like every week. That's like his best friend.
I feel like Howard Stern kind of went on the other side too, though.
Oh, he's like in the middle.
It's like after he jumped off of public radio, when he went private, it like I don't know.
No, yeah.
He totally
Howard
changed.
Stern, he's his own entity, bro. He's like the suit. He can say whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, he usually does.
Well, yeah, he's been doing that. That's his whole career.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Fart man.
That's what I'm saying. So they're not even in the same category.
Yeah, that's true.
Howard Stern is God. Jimmy Kimmel is just a guy trying to figure out what the hell he's doing in life. Compared to him in life, in the radio aspect.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel's the guy who follows the nightly news and the Muppets.
The nightly news and the Muppets?
Yeah. Yeah, because Disney owns Jim Henson, too. I'm being serious.
Oh, my God. Poor Jimmy Kimmel. What did you do?
You left the Man Show. That's what he did. That's back when he was good. Thank you, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, he fell off, huh?
Wow.
Yeah,
I've seen him a couple things, but...
Wait, what's Adam Carolla been up to?
Not much.
Exactly.
You guys are hilarious right now.
Just ripping on Jimmy Kimmel and the Man Show.
You guys are just bashing these guys?
I feel like bashing the Man Show. Oh my god.
I don't know. I saw it and I thought it was funny because it's just so hypocritical, dude.
Funny.
It's hypocritical is what it is. Like,
I was thinking the same thing.
You have two people. They both fail at the same thing, but because one of them's your guy and the other is not your guy, you're gonna have a different opinion of him. That's the very definition of biasness.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody has a bias at some point.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one thing to be biased. It's another thing to not allow your bias to affect, your decision. You want to try and be objective about things, especially something like this, where
so it's not an unwarranted bias, like what I mean, like if I'm just gonna be biased.
Well, I mean, at least recognizing that you're being biased and try to be as objective as possible about it, and not push your subjective biases on the reality. I think that's a big problem we have when we're trying to get policy in place in the first place. Anyways, we're always looking for subjective. It's a
myopic view.
Yeah, we're always looking at it subjectively because it feels good, it sounds good, but the reality is in practice it doesn't work out that way. In practice these are the things that work. As hard as the truth sometimes is a hard fucking pill to swallow, but reality is reality. You gotta fucking
reality is a reality.
And that makes me think of like what you were tweeting Stephen A. Smith about. Well, it kind of makes me think of that when he was saying that.
Oh yeah. When I tweeted Stephen A. Smith, yeah, dude. Like he wasn't. I don't know. It was just it was ridiculous to me. I just thought, I don't understand how he could even try to classify things like that. Only because he had a bias towards Black Lives Matter versus school shootings and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now we've been on this topic for about 40 minutes. You guys want to give some final thoughts on that? We'll start off with you, Will.
My final thoughts on school shootings and all that stuff is just when, like we said, it's sad to say that it's never going to end.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I mean, it's certainly not going to stop in the immediate future.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not, but we can't come to equal agreement into what's going to stop it. Either A, we take away all the guns, or we don't take away all the guns. Whereas we don't have a medium, so I don't see it a possibility in the foreseeable future.
What do you think, Colonel?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. I really don't.
What do you think?
And I don't think it's feasible. I don't think it's not feasible to try and take all the guns away and ban all the guns, place restrictions on shit. Big business isn't going to stand for you putting restrictions on ammo. They make fucking hundreds of millions of dollars a year in ammo sales. You think they're going to let you put restrictions on that? No fucking way.
NRA too.
And it's probably even billions of dollars really in that.
So, it's all monetized,
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that it's in the Constitution. It's so difficult to change the Constitution, and as polarized as the country is, sad to say, you're not going to get any significant reform in that direction. The only thing I can see to curb the school shootings and just crime in general is learn to defend yourself. Learn to be, learn to learn some situational awareness. Be aware of your surroundings. Pay attention to what's going on. That way, when these things pop off, you
more observant.
Yeah, you can react more appropriately, and you have the capacity to defend yourself if necessary. That's what's gonna stop this. You know what would stop some crazy guy coming into the school shooting him up? Someone else there with a gun to put him down.
Almost like Israel. You know how everybody has to at least serve sometime.
Yeah, Switzerland, dude. In Switzerland, everybody mandatory 2 years service. And then after your 2 years service, you take your shit with you. You take your guns, you take your gear. Everybody's ready to go. You know what their crime rate is?
It's like 0%.
It's a lot fucking lower than it is here. And they don't have motherfuckers shooting up schools either.
Right, because everybody's already ready.
Because everybody's armed.
Yeah, and ironically,
everybody's ready.
And ironically, they're also a neutral state, so they're more...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because they can avoid conflict. They're up, and that's another reason why the country, a little historical fact for you guys. That's why the country, everybody's armed, is because of their position, especially historically, they had the Germans, the French, the Italians, the Spanish. They're kind of centralized between all of them, but they're up there in the mountains. They need everybody armed. They can use geography and tactical advantage to prevent being overrun, which is what they did. And that's why they were successful and still the neutral state that they are.
That's true.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 1.
What's that?
Goes down. I said I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 1.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was going to bring it up, too. The Colonel was playing a game on his phone over here. What game are you playing?
Oh, Clash Royale.
Tell us a little bit about that.
It's not much to say. It's just a real-time strategy game. Tower defense, knock the other player's towers out.
Now, how's your team doing on there?
Well, you don't really have a team. You have a two versus two option, so you just get randomly paired.
Yeah, games are good, man.
Yeah, you get randomly paired 2 versus 2. But I don't know. I seem to get paired up with a lot of nitwits, dude. They do some dumb shit, and sometimes I feel like they're like sabotaging us from winning because they're just doing dumb shit. It's like, dude, it's like watching stupid in action. Like, what's going on here? Why'd you do that?
It reminds me of the pre-show.
Right.
Or like when I love it when, because you have certain cards, right? All the cards do different things. You play them, and like a perfect example is when the tower is down. Their tower is down to 100 hit points, so you can launch a fireball. It'll pop the tower, right? But these dickheads, they'll launch the fireball at something else, or they'll miss. They miss the tower. I get when you're trying, when the creatures are moving towards you. Maybe there's a lag spike, so you're off a bit. You don't hit them all or something. But the towers are stationary, dude. It's not moving. How do you miss that? I don't know. It's just I don't. It never ceases to amaze me. It never ceases to amaze me.
Yeah, they're shooting inanimate objects and they can't hit them.
Yeah, it's a stationary target. It's right there. And it doesn't require. It's not like it requires any skill to just press on the screen where you want to target. You just press on the tower.
Right?
That's why I say, dude, like they're trying to sabotage it because it's like you have to actively try not to win.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
What you doing, homie?
And it really gets I get heated up about it sometimes, man.
Man, you know what's funny is I've been playing a game called Fortnite because my kids, they each have their own little system, and I have the PS4 Pro and shit. Mm-hmm. I've been playing this game called Fortnite, and it's fucking so frustrating, dude. It's kind of like what you're saying, but you know.
Are you playing with other people? Is it online?
I do at times, and then when I do it, they don't fucking listen. But the fact that you only have one chance in this match, like you only have one life, you know, mm-hmm. and you go and shoot and whatever, it's so fucking bullshit. This shit that goes on in this game.
Do you ever just spend the game running around killing other players? I mean, you only got one life, right? Just go clip them all out.
It's a battle royale, so it's everybody. Either you can pick the 1 versus 99, or you have like a squad. You go, it's just fucking crazy. You can't believe it.
1 versus 99, what? Like a free for all with 100 people?
Yeah, so 100 people around the world.
Nice.
And then you
fucking just go
and you guys battle it out. So,
that sounds awesome.
So and one person has to win. One person has to win this shit.
Yeah, obviously.
You know? And then you all land on this island, and then the map condenses every like 2 minutes. So
as people are getting killed off, they make the map smaller.
Right. And
that's cool.
It condenses, and eventually, you get to the end game, and then you have to use like materials to build like forts and shit like that, and then it's so fucking ridiculous, dude. Yeah, it's ridiculous. You guys gotta check it out. Crazy shit. I was watching my kids play it, and then I started watching them, and then I kind of got hooked by watching them, and now I'm just hooked on it. Ridiculous.
That's cool.
Because we were talking about video games. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just wanting to say that. It's actually the #1 played game in the world.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I wouldn't know. Yeah, aside from that game on my phone, I play once in a while, and then Civilization on PC, which the new expansion came out last week and is fucking awesome. I will say that it's pretty dope.
They do have it for PC too, Fortnite.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess I guess they would, huh?
I
might have to check it out. I don't know if my computer could handle that though, dude. My computer's old and it's crappy. I'm surprised I can even play Civilization 6 on it. I mean, I can, and dude, and don't get me wrong, like I can't play like with the high settings. I have to turn the settings down. You know, I have to play like on a smaller map with less players. Otherwise, my shit gets all laggy and stuff, and nope, doesn't work too well.
That sounds good.
No, not at all.
Now, speaking of games, we got a lot of sports going on this week. We got the NBA All-Star Game going on right now with Team LeBron and Team Steph. What do you think about that one, Sir William? Like, about who do you think is going to win? Because we were talking about this like earlier.
Well, I said that from the get-go. I hope that Team LeBron will win.
I did too.
But I'm not watching the game right. I'm not watching the game right now because my kids are watching all their.
Oh, okay. That's what I was asking. So I didn't know if you were watching or not.
No, they're taking over the TVs.
The Golden Knights are still winning too.
Shit.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, the Golden Knights are like on fire right now. They're the best record in the NHL.
Yeah, I'm pulling them up right now just to verify. But they just won the last 2 games too. Actually, I think they've won the last several games. Actually.
I was going to say, did you see the dunk contest yesterday? Mm-hmm. Donovan Mitchell won it.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. The dunk contest, Donovan Mitchell won it. Then for the Phoenix Suns, who I'm repping right now on the show, Devin Booker set the record for most points in the 3-point shootout. And then in the skills challenge, Spencer Dinwiddie, who of the Brooklyn Nets, who we brought up on our episode about, remember like the NBA player names? Like you had to guess what team they were on? Mm-hmm. Like the bench guys. He was one of the guys we mentioned on that show, so he ended up winning the skills contest, which I thought was pretty amusing. But that Donovan Mitchell, man, that dude is legit. That dude's a baller.
Yeah, the Golden Knights are first overall right now, number 1 overall.
Overall in the all of NHL?
Mm-hmm. Yep. In the entire NHL. That's a shame to see the Rangers are at the bottom of their division. They suck.
Wow.
Man.
There's a Jets of hockey.
Who would have thought that?
I know. Dude, it's amazing. Golden Knights are just slaying it. Yeah, Tampa Bay is 1 point behind them for first place, but we've beat them twice now, no?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we beat them both times we played them, so I don't think we need to worry about them.
Because that brings a lot of hope for any other future franchises like the Raiders and
yeah, we should be the model.
At least we know we have a winning culture here. You know, it's not Cleveland.
Ha.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Seattle put in a bid for an NHL team this week, so they might be getting
really might get another team too, huh?
Yep, Seattle wants a team there.
Well, maybe we get a new team, or maybe they get a team that travels out over there. But
yeah,
nice to get some new teams.
Yeah, that's true. But they did
relocate.
Yeah, expand the league a bit.
Relocate.
Yeah, I don't know how has the soccer team been doing. I haven't been following them at all.
Las Vegas Lights, I have no idea.
Let's pull them up.
I think their season starts soon though. I heard something on the
radio. Well, yeah, but they're
it.
playing preseason or whatever.
Yeah, they're playing preseason games for sure. I think they have like 3 of them.
And they're also in the works of getting a stadium in Summerlin as well.
Yeah, the baseball stadium.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Vegas is expanding as a sports city. Hopefully, a lot of this crime gets diluted.
Yeah. Then we also have the Las Vegas Aces WNBA team starting this
Las Vegas Dead Bodies.
Yeah, I'm sure there's all sorts of excitement over that.
Las Vegas Homicides.
Yeah, then we got the NASCAR race coming here to Vegas soon. That's in 2 weeks. And speaking of that, Austin Dillon, who drove the number 3, like Dale Earnhardt, won the NASCAR race today. So that was pretty cool because it's the only other time number 3's won 20 years apart. It happened like 20 years apart.
Do they fight in NASCAR?
What?
Do they fight?
Do they fight in NASCAR?
They did last year a few times. They've had a few brawls in the pits. There's some good videos on YouTube. I'll recommend like looking up fight videos on YouTube for NASCAR drivers. The best one's like when this one guy like comes up behind another guy and like puts him in a headlock and they start brawling.
Oh, so this isn't a major league soccer team. This is like the minor league soccer team. Yeah.
But they're playing. But on occasion they'll play like MLS teams.
What? Yeah, they'll play their minor league teams.
It's still professional, but not major league.
It's the minor league.
Yeah. It's like the
like
Las
playing
Vegas
AAA.
51s. It's like the 51s kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
And nothing wrong with that. I think this city's been starved for sports teams for quite some time now, and now we're going to be saturated with them.
We're flooded.
They're going to be everywhere.
Which is good, I would say, because I think that would just bring a better overall feeling, a more positive feeling for the future. So I know I can strive to try to be this team or this team. You know, a lot of these athletes out there, the reason why they're athletes is because in the cities that they're raised, they strive to be like the Knicks or the Bulls or the Lakers. You know what I mean? In Vegas, you didn't have that. All we have is casinos and hookers everywhere.
Casinos and hookers.
You know, that's all you can strive. So, and what does that bring?
And that's what brings
negativity.
All the teams
That brings negativity. So evil begets evil.
Well, there have been scientific studies done that have shown the emotional effect it has on a person when their favorite sports team wins or loses. I read this article a while back, but there was data to support that. When your team wins, you're just generally more optimistic and a little bit happier overall. When your favorite team loses, it's actually stressful and impacts your body and mental state negatively. So there's a lot, and I think, you know, when you look at a whole city, you know, like Philadelphia right now, you know, obviously the city's probably still ecstatic over their win, you know, and it'll probably carry over all the way into next year.
Yeah, and then the Flyers and 76ers been benefiting from that too.
Yeah.
They both are on win streaks.
You know, and then the city, you know, the city wants to celebrate it too, you know, so everybody gets on board with it.
Right, because it gives it some sort of glimmer of hope. So if there's no hope within that city, how's it supposed to progress any further?
Mm-hmm.
Like Cleveland.
It gives us a bigger perspective. Like there's, you know, you know, it's more than just a game.
Right.
You know,
it really is.
It is. It truly is. You know, it affects people. People are affected by it. You know.
Well, that's
as silly as it may be sometimes.
You know, life imitates action. Whatever action you put forth is probably what you're going to be a recipient of.
Yeah. Then, do you guys want to give some shout-outs real quick? Because we're about to end the show in about a minute or two.
Give a shout-out to the birthday girl last night. Happy birthday.
What about you, Sir William?
Just give a shout-out to you guys, Hampton Records. A shout-out to Dr. Varga. Shout-out to the boy, the Colonel. Shout-out to my homie Tone, War Machine 13. It's his birthday today, so I'm going to shout him out. Shout-out to my family. And let's just try to be better people.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout-out to all the listeners out there. And then next week I'll be at the WWE Elimination Chamber event here in Vegas. I'll be doing live commentary for the show down there. And Ronda Rousey will be making her debut down there. So that'll be quite interesting. Especially considering she's transitioning from UFC into pro wrestling.
We'll have to get some pictures uploaded, too.
That's what I'm going to do, too.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys think any other UFC fighters are going to do that?
Can you get pictures with the fighters?
Well, yeah, I mean, they most likely will. You know? I mean, whether better way to transition from a fighting sport to wrestling where, you know, you at least know kind of the outcome.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a little more scripted.
Well, plus I don't think she wants to get beat up by Holly Holm anymore. You know?
Well, she went all fucking Hollywood, dude.
Yeah.
Her game slip.
And that was like the last thing I was gonna bring up, but the producer has a picture of the actual chamber that they're gonna have at the show, so I figured I'd throw it up there because it looks pretty awesome. It's
cool.
Awesome visual, so I figured I might put that up there. That was the only other thing I wanted to talk about was the Ronda Rousey thing. Since UFC's having a fight tonight, so I wanted to tie that into this.
They're having a fight tonight?
Yeah, it's happening right now. The
really?
UFC fight night.
Oh, I thought UFC's usually had fight nights on Saturday.
Yeah, I know, but today it's because of President's Day. They got the Cowboy
everyone's
Cerrone
got off
fighting
tomorrow.
Yeah, Cowboy Cerrone is fighting.
Well, not everyone. I have an interview.
Oh, wow,
tomorrow.
okay.
Yep. But yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, shout out to all my friends, everybody who was out last night. Y'all awesome, and listeners too.
Yeah, War Machine 1369. Happy birthday, brother.
I've been to so many changes, but somehow I hold on. I don't know where to go, but I'm gonna keep holding on, baby. Day after day, week after week, month after month, turn into a year. Oh, I thank you. I'm gonna keep on holding on. I'm gonna keep on holding on to my strength. Oh, I thank you for helping me through the storm. I thank you for helping me carry on through the giving me